Hey, what's up, guys? Mike's here, and guess what? Time for another episode of Tell 'em All. And this is day 2. Oh, my hair's kind of messed up though, but I don't care. So today is day 2. This is the day 2 of Movie Madness Week. So basically, all the movies that I never seen it, never heard of it, never watched it, but I had to watch that one for the purpose, and might gonna give you something that would probably be worth it. The day 2 of Movie Madness Week. Alright, this is day 2 right here. I'm gonna talk about the movie that I just watched earlier in the morning, and it's called Time Barbarians. And this year is made in 1990, I believe, because that's the year that's the decade that I was born. So it's the year 1990. I will tell you all about what that movie is about. Okay, this day 2, this episode for a tell 'em all that the story is basically back in the old times where this one Buffy guy who fights with a sword, fights with this one little sword and tries to take away the amulet. The amulet, like a diamond that he even kept that one for himself to take time traveling to today, the present day in Los Angeles. That's just 1990 Los Angeles that you saw, but not the 2017 that you just see. But the scenery back then, right there, is so eerie and it's kind of forced. And they film in the forest for no reason. So that's just some old times. They battle it out with some swords, some weapons. They have used daggers and all other stuff. And there are barbarian queens and barbarian kings try to fight along against this little maniacs there who are trying to just caught up with it. Because those tribes are so... The other tribe right there who acting like they're being so crazy and just try to violate to each other. That one, yeah.
That's just not reasonable.
So the whole story is that in the beginning of the story, that one barbarian tried to fight against this little crazy little maniac thing, and he has put the mask on, and he has a little tongue that like spinning around like crazy. That's just like Big Slow from Fairy Tail. I don't know if I can compare that one. From that time forward on, that little army, Kadar and his army, that's an evil tyrant they used to. They tried to attack the barbarian queen, and at the end of the night, she had been killed by Kadar. And she took the amulet, which would take us to the present. Fast forwarding time. So that's what Time Barbarian comes forth in the title. Now this barbarian has to find a way, try to get that amulet back by this woman with some white cloth on it all over, and she wants him to find that amulet, or otherwise his tribe will get cursed by a plague. So that what Barbarian's goal right here is. He has to take that sword, put himself in that it's kind of like a time machine, but it's on a sword, and it will take that one to the present time on Los Angeles. But that's 1990s, by the way. It's 1990s. It's not in 2017, so it's just still 1990s. It's where this camera guy and the woman reporter trying to film it, but now all of a sudden all the bad guys are coming through and get at her. But the barbarian is coming from that time, it's back from the past. It's just blasted in the future to try to attack one of these armies that been used to nowadays. And now we put in that situation. At the end, he finally killed Kadar, and he got his amulet back. Now that's you know that little diamond thing there? It's gonna take us back to the present that he used to have. That happens, he made himself a king, but that wasn't really happen on that movie though. So that's just how it is. That's just how that movie is. The thoughts about the movie. Okay, the thoughts about the movie is that, okay, it seems so kind of an action movie. That's the first impression. I think that the movie is kind of like not bad. It's like there's like so many barbarians who are attacking against another army. I mean, against another army. There's like barbarian wars and putting us of the history about it, because there are lots of Vikings and whatnot. And they do have some barbarian women as well, because maybe the old ancient times, like go into a page and look at the whole history of it. If you wanna learn about some barbarians in any history here, any kind of world history, just look it up and see how that experience goes. The amulet has a legend that it could tell you the time. It's like taking you back to the past, but in old ancient times, it has that power to take you back to the future, or you use out future. It leads you to the future, or where the time is, or maybe something like 20 or something like take this and you will be seeing yourself in the future. Maybe seeing yourself in the future of 2017. But if in 2017, if you take any kind of a thing, any object that will lead you to, that would take you to the future, it's kind of like in the year, kind of like the year 2100, 2100. There'll be future from right ahead. It's like we're moving from this Flintstones to the Jetsons era. No, it's not the Jetsons era. It's some sort of a middle here. Well, you get the whole point. You get the whole point on what it is. Well, but the barbarian, it's a barbarian taking time to take them to the future, take them to the future. It's kind of bizarre thing that he have done it. Well, after all, this barbarian is kind of buffy, and he can take everything that he wants to do to try to attack another barbarian, another tribe, from taking back what they're thinking about, taking back what's mine and put that back in history. Alright, now it's time to verdict this one. The rate. Okay, for all the scenes that I just looked at, it seems like there are lots of good situation in taking you the differences between what they fought in the past and what they fought today and fought in the future. But being a barbarian, it's a whole new thing. It's a very different thing to do. I might gonna give that one a 7 out of 10, because that's probably be a good. It's probably a good movie, but it needs to get a little better. Needs some improvement on what it is. But the video or the scene here, sometimes in the scenes there, it's too dark and I can't see anything on the whole point. Because what's the reason we can't see the movie, like when it's almost pitch black dark and I cannot see anything and I can't look at it and I don't understand. So it needs a little bit of improvement for there. So I had to give that Time Barbarians 7 out of 10. Alright guys, that is the end of this episode of Taiwan, and this is the end of day 2 of Movie Madness Week. I'm gonna be watching more videos than what you expect, and see you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget the video if you missed it. Alright.